What if I told you that extended reality doesn't need to be confusing, and that we already have products to go with our AR-type glasses?
What the hell did you just say?
I'm talking about the Viture Neckband, which upon first glance, I too questioned what exactly this thing was. Same goes for this, the mobile dock, and basically everything else in their lineup. So if you give me say 9 minutes, 27 seconds, I'll tell you exactly what they are and why you might want them. As usual, I'm going to give you all the good, all the bad, and then a judgment at the end. But since I'm doing more than one item in this video, I'm going to put the likes and dislikes together, so make sure to check the timestamps for each section. And before we get started, full transparency, these products were provided by Viture, no money was exchanged, and all opinions are my own as always. And they're also seeing this the same time as you are, so let's get to it. First up on the docket, the neckband, which you'd be forgiven if you thought was a set of headphones that you wear around your neck. But if you thought that, you would be amiss, because this thing actually is more like a portable Android TV. I'm not entirely sure what kind of processor is in here, but it's enough to handle some basic Android apps, including the pre-installed ones. Because it's a little difficult to capture the image through the glasses, I've connected the neckband to an external monitor to give you a better idea of how it looks and how it works. Just imagine though that this is an image that you would see if you plug in directly to your Viture XR glasses. Now you control the interface through these buttons using these controls right here. From here, you'll be able to stream any of the major platforms, or if you have a home server through something like Plex, Jellyfin, or Emby, you can also stream through those services as well. My preferred use case is actually using my Razer Plus and casting to the neckband. For you Samsung DeX users, this will also work for you like that as well. And it works surprisingly well. What else it can do is stream from remote play services like Remote Play for PlayStation, Xbox Game Pass, and yes, even Moonlight and Boosteroid. Do check out a review of that service on the channel. The neckband also gives your Viture glasses added capability of pushing the picture to a quadrant or corner of the Viture One's FOV, which they call ambient mode. So let's imagine for a second that you're cooking and want to follow along with the video tutorial, but don't want the entire video taking up your central vision. You can push that picture to just a corner. Unlike the Xreal beam, you can also adjust the size a little bit, but I'll save major comparisons for this and the beam for another day. What I like about this neckband is actually that it's surprisingly comfortable. Yes, if you have a thick neck, it's probably not going to fit you, and that is one thing to keep in mind. But assuming it does fit you, this solution actually works surprisingly well, because you don't have a dangling cable that runs down your chest or down your back and then go into your pocket, since this cable only runs the length of your neck, and so it's less likely to get caught on anything. And because it's essentially an Android TV, you can load it up with other media, like a few movies or some music, and then you have offline content for your Viture One. Definitely a nice plus for a long haul flight. One example I sort of show off here is also that you can load up a side-by-side VR video, and even though it shows up as two different screens here, just imagine that it shows up as a 3D video in the glasses. Another neat little trick it has is that you can swap directions for the input buttons, and you can also log into services like Google Play, so that you're not locked behind things like an Amazon Fire device. And that's good. Now for my final point that I like, I mentioned earlier, it's ambient mode, and I think it's a very functional use case for walking the doggo, for example. As for things I don't like about the neckband, the bending hinge mechanism here doesn't feel incredibly sturdy, unlike their glasses. And so I wouldn't give this to anyone who will manhandle it, but at the same time, I don't think it's just going to fall apart by you putting them on or taking them off. Another downside I'll also mention is fan noise. Someone will definitely complain about that in the comments. It can get loud, but there is a toggle to reduce the fan noise, albeit at the cost of running the device a little hotter. It doesn't get uncomfortable around your neck though. Battery life is also not fantastic, as it can chew through the battery fairly quickly depending on what you're doing on the neckband. So for my experience, the neckband does last a couple of hours on a single charge, and thankfully the USB-C charge port isn't obscurely placed, so you can just plug in the neckband to a power source as needed while you're using it. Moving over to this thing, the mobile dock. Let's start with its functionality. It's pretty straightforward, serving as a battery pack and a type of quote-unquote dock. Semantics aside, it allows you to connect some device with some kind of output like a SteamDeck or Legion Go, and then have that image displayed out to the Viture One XR glasses. So even if you're not in the handhelds only gang, you can also connect other things like a PS5 or Xbox Series X to the glasses using this dock. Now you might be asking, why not just connect the glasses directly? Generally speaking, that's not possible with some kind of converter or adapter, and that is the same for all of these XR type of glasses. But with this dock, you can use it essentially as a bridge, assuming you do have this type of adapter. So while I think the use cases for this mobile dock are a bit fewer than, say, the neckband, if you're a Switch or Deck user in particular, it's great for outputting the display to not one, but two pairs of XR glasses. And yes, before you ask, you can absolutely do the same thing with other handhelds, like the Go and the Ally. The only catch is that the battery pack function will primarily be used to power the glasses, since the power bank requirements don't meet the handheld TDP requirement, at least not as far as I can tell. But also, if you are a Deck or Switch user, there are things like this mount, an accessory that attaches to the back of the device. Let's talk about what I don't like about the dock. Really, I think that this device is pretty straightforward. I do wish it came with a larger capacity or higher output so that I could use it better with more Windows handhelds. But this dock does predate most of those other handhelds, so I understand that, and maybe there's a revision in the future. Other than that, it's a little pricey, but being able to connect two pairs of glasses for a co-op experience isn't something that other glasses setups can even do. So even if it's a super niche use case, it's not one that you can even entertain with other companies. Okay, moving over to the other accessories. What can I say? There are a lot, so I'm just going to cover a few that I have access to right now. First is the neckband charging case, and I'll mention this one specifically because I think the design aesthetic and design language matches the quality of the glasses and the overall ecosystem itself. Unfortunately, this is a little pricey, but I felt it looked good enough to warrant a purchase with my own money because the little bit of unease I have with the hinges that I mentioned earlier is completely protected and relieved with this solution. Though I will admit it's not a complete necessity, so let's move over to these adapters. This one here is a must for single port USB-C fam like owners of a Deck or Ally. It'll allow you to charge the device and glasses simultaneously with the power pass-through. Then there are things like these lens covers or lens shades, which are unfortunately not included out of the box with the Viture One XR glasses, but they do allow for more immersion, and if you're someone who is bothered by ambient light and the dimming mode is not enough for you, this will do the job. Plus there are a good variety of styles like these limited edition ones. They're a little bit flashy for my taste, but I never leave the house anyway, so I guess that's fine. And I'll also say that there are plenty of other accessories that I'm not even showing you here, like all of the iOS and iPhone accessories, and I can't fully cover them in this short review. But let's just say that they've probably got you covered if you have any kind of new piece of technology that has a video display output. Just remember that your device needs to have some kind of DisplayPort alt mode capability, or you might have to find some other workaround. Thankfully, they also have extensive documentation under Viture Academy. And now for a judgment call, also known as the section you skip to first. In a twist for the channel, rather than tell you whether or not you should buy these things, I'm going to tell you who should buy these things. Let's go in order. First with the neckband. I think if you're an enjoyer of the Viture glasses and the price tag doesn't scare you off, then this could be for you, particularly if you don't also own a gaming handheld or gaming PC, because then you might really want to take advantage of some of those streaming services. Just remember, you will have to pick up another Bluetooth controller. What about the mobile dock? Unfortunately, I do think this is much more of a niche use case, unless again you are a Deck or Switch user who wants some added co-op options and wouldn't mind the extra battery life. Then in that case, there aren't very many other choices that do what this package can offer. And now for the rest of the accessories, I'll mention specifically the charging adapter. I think this one is a must for anyone that is port limited, including smartphone users, so that the glasses aren't constantly draining your phone's battery. One thing you might be wondering is how these things stack up to the Red Magic gaming dock thing that I reviewed a while ago before on the channel. As far as I can tell, they're pretty comparable, but the Red Magic gaming dock has been steadily increasing in price for whatever reason, so I'd say pick up whatever is cheaper, probably the Viture adapter. Plus with the Viture adapter, you don't have to go through AliExpress, which I know some people are apprehensive about. And really, that's about it. No, that's actually not it. I've held off publishing this video for longer than I originally intended because I was informed that they will be releasing more to the Viture ecosystem, like a new pair of light glasses at lower cost, and an adapter that resolves the proprietary magnetic connector, which I complained about in my Viture glasses review. Also, there's a variant neckband which matches the light glasses, both coming in limited edition white. And you thought the Xreal reds were hot. These are burning hot, like white hot. Probably too hot for me, but they would go nicely with my Keep setup, don't you think? You know what else I think? I think you should check out the Viture XR glasses review next.
GG.